Hello, ghosties. You're listening to Not My Ghost.
Not My Problem. I'm Kelly.
And I'm Jen.
Whether you're a skeptic, a true believer, or somewhere in between, join us for a journey into the unknown.
Because remember, when it comes to the paranormal, it may not be our problem.
But it's certainly someone's problem. So today's episode is going to be interesting, Jen.
Why is that, Kelly?
Because I decided I wanted to try a Celsius energy drink.
That seems like a really bad idea.
It does. And I was not thinking when I opened it that we would be recording very soon.
Mm-hmm.
And now I kind of feel like my brain is vibrating inside my skull. But maybe it's going to hyper-focus myself. It's going to cure that ADHD and we won't spend an hour talking about alligators this time.
I highly doubt it.
No,
but we'll see.
We'll see.
Well, if it works, I'm going to try an energy drink because I need something to help control my ADHD.
Well, yeah. I mean, if it works, then I'll have to drink more.
Does it have that gross energy drink taste to it?
Just a teeny, tiny hint of it.
Okay.
I have tried another very popular energy drink in the past, and I got 2 sips in and I threw up. Like it was so bad.
Oh, okay.
But this, I've had about a quarter of it and I'm okay.
Okay. That's good. I'll have to give it a shot if this episode is successful. I used to drink energy drinks back when I was like younger, 20s, and they were just really nasty. But at that time, I didn't like coffee yet. So they were like necessary for me.
Right.
But I think the best time I've had with an energy drink is mixing it with vodka when I was like 19.
Fun.
Great time.
Sounds like a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun.
Do they balance each other out? Like the energy part and then the sedative part of alcohol? Did it like balance things out? Or?
No, I was crazy. But I was also 19.
Yeah.
At 19, I don't think the alcohol really sedated me very much.
Well, at 19, I was pregnant, so I wasn't doing a lot of drinking.
Okay, wow. I wasn't doing a ton. I drink more now that I'm older than I did when I was a teenager. The first time, I'm actually very proud of myself. The first time I ever had alcohol was 1 week before my 18th birthday. Well, okay, sorry, not the first time I ever had alcohol. I had alcohol before then. The first time I ever got drunk was 1 week before my 18th birthday, which I think was pretty good for the time.
Yeah.
A lot of my friends were smoking weed, doing drugs, getting drunk all the time, and I was pretty good.
Yeah, I was 18.
And I had a brother who was 21 with friends that I hung out with. So I had access to someone who could buy me alcohol.
Right. You're just a good girl.
And I didn't. I was a good girl.
Yeah. You're still a good girl.
What can I say? I'm so good. We'll see.
We'll see.
Yeah.
All righty. I have, by the way, everybody, welcome to our scripted, unscripted banter part. I was hoping that this energy drink would stop me from going on a tangent about alligators for an hour, but apparently we're now just going on a tangent about alcohol for an hour.
Yeah.
But I have a question for you.
Okay.
What is something that everybody else seems to dislike, but you like?
Oh, okay.
I can answer first if you need me to.
Yes, please do.
And I'm probably going to get a lot of heat for this.
Okay.
Nickelback. I just don't get the hate for Nickelback. I think that they're a completely appropriate, talented rock band. I like Daltrey, right? And I think they're very similar to Daltrey. I just don't understand where all the hate for them comes from.
I don't get that either. I don't love them, but I don't dislike them. Like, I'm not going to hate on Nickelback, but I think I can only name like one song.
I wouldn't buy a concert ticket to go see them.
Right. Okay.
But
fair enough.
I don't have anything against them at all.
Yeah.
So that's my thing that I seem to like that a lot of people dislike.
Okay. That's a hard question. I'm like looking around my room. Like, can I find something that I'm going to say crystals.
Oh, okay.
So I love my crystals. I think they're pretty and I charge them in the full moon. And when I had money, I used to buy more of them all the time and add to my collection. Now I can't afford to go crystal shopping, but I still love them. Yeah. And a lot of people are just like, why? They don't get it.
I think they're beautiful, but I don't necessarily, I don't know that I believe that there is power in them, but I do think that they are beautiful.
I believe that the power comes from your belief in them.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Like it's almost like manifesting, right?
Okay.
Like they say you're manifesting, you're bringing positive energy. If I put a crystal in my pocket that's supposed to help me with confidence, for some reason, I feel more confident. Now, is that just how I trick my mind to be confident, or is the crystal helping me be confident? It's up to you on what you want to say.
Right. I believe that when people make like vision boards and things like that, I think that works because they take the time to clearly define goals. And then those goals are in front of them, and then they start to take the next steps to accomplish those goals. I don't necessarily know that there's any kind of like mystical, magical power behind it as much as it is setting your brain towards accomplishing those things.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's kind of where I agree.
You get a lot of hate when you like things like that. And people are like, oh, that's so stupid and blah, 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 blah. But if you want to live in a world where nobody is allowed to believe in something different than you or love something different than you, what a boring fucking world do you want to live in?
Well, some people want us to be in that world.
Yeah. Well, they're going to take me kicking and screaming.
Oh, I'm going to be kicking, screaming, biting, punching.
I agree.
Setting things on fire. Watch the world burn first.
You want to know what we're talking about today?
Yes, I do. What are we talking about?
Not too long ago, I was in the shower.
Oh, sexy.
And that's what we're going to talk about now.
Oh, perfect. Kelly's shower. Kelly, please tell me your shower routine. I want to hear it all.
Okay, first I wash my face.
Okay.
With really cheap face wash. Like people will be like, oh my God, you're supposed to use this. That's just like cheap.
Yeah, that's fair.
Anyway, I'm not going through my whole shower routine.
I just wash my face with my body wash. It's probably not. I can't. Kelly, did we mention that I'm poor? I can't afford multiple types of washes.
Yeah.
You're lucky I can afford shampoo and conditioner.
The only reason I can afford shampoo, conditioner, and face wash is because it's all the cheapest stuff you can
That's fair.
buy. Any hoodles. I just had this thought in my brain.
Shower thought.
That came out of nowhere that I wondered if there were any cursed books out there.
Oh, of course. I mean, I can't think of any off the top of my head, but I'm sure they exist.
So today we dive into a spine-tingling topic that's as old as the written word itself. Books.
Love it.
We think of them as portals to new worlds, gateways to knowledge, and keepers of secrets. But what happens when those secrets come at a cost? What if the words on the page hold more than just meaning? What if they hold a curse? For centuries, whispers of cursed books have haunted our libraries and imaginations. These aren't just stories of dusty tomes. They're tales of texts surrounded by mystery, misfortune, and sometimes even madness. From ancient manuscripts to modern urban legends, cursed books remind us that the power of the written word might just extend beyond what we can see or understand. In this episode, we're exploring the dark allure of cursed books. What makes a book cursed? How do these stories come to life? And why are we so drawn to them, despite the danger they supposedly bring? So grab your flashlight, settle in, and get ready to uncover the secrets of the written word, if you dare.
Love it.
But first, we have some random facts.
I love my facts.
I do too. We have some fun facts.
Okay. The
most expensive book ever sold was Leonardo da Vinci's Codex Licer. It was sold to Bill Gates for $30.8 million in 1994.
Wow.
That's a lot of money for a fucking book.
Yeah.
I love books, but that's a lot of money. Dr. Seuss's publisher bet him that he couldn't write a book using only 50 words. And he proved him wrong by writing Green Eggs and Ham, which contains only 50 words used over and over again. So it had the least amount of words and sold the most amount of copies.
That is amazing. I guess out of all the books that I would think to only have that, Green Eggs and Ham would not have been the one I thought. Because I feel like that's one that's more of a story, whereas a lot of his like red fish, blue fish, like that's a bunch of just words that are put together.
That was my favorite book when I was little, was one fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish.
Yeah.
I think it's a bit problematic now. I think I've heard some things. I don't really remember the whole book. But
yeah,
a study from Yale University found that people who read books for at least 30 minutes a day live nearly 2 years longer than non-readers.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty fascinating.
Did the study include listening to audiobooks?
It did not. However, I have read studies before that when you listen to a book, it lights up the same part of your brain as it does when you are reading the book.
Oh, okay. That's good.
Maybe we get 1 year longer than non-readers by listening to audiobooks.
By listening. I honestly get way more out of a book when I listen to it versus reading it. I find when I read it, my brain skips ahead of my eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And like I end up skipping like full on sentences or like short paragraphs where I literally just skim it. And then I realize like, I don't know what the fuck I just read.
Yeah, I'll read an entire page in a book and have not a clue.
Yeah.
Not a clue what I just read. I can sit down and read a book, but it is a lot of going back and reading the same sentences 3 or 4 times.
Absolutely.
So it takes me a lot longer.
I just finished the ACOTAR series, and as I was Googling like the next series that she has, that Sarah J. Maas has written, so I could start that, I found out there were like deleted chapters. So I went and found those like PDF copies and read them, and they were great. But that's when it really reminded me what it was like for me to read, like actually read. Because again, I was skipping paragraphs. I was going back. I didn't understand what this was. And I'm like, now I know why I listen.
Not only that, my brain has the power of my brain to dissociate is amazing, because I can be reading every word on that page, but my brain is not somewhere in this realm at all.
No. Now, granted, there are times I have to hit that little 30-second back button on my audiobook app, because I just completely zoned out and didn't hear a word that they just said. So it does happen while listening too.
I'll give you a little tidbit here about my shower routine. I used to listen to audiobooks when I was in the shower, but I cannot.
Oh, really?
I will listen to like a podcast or something that's kind of interesting background noise that maybe I'll pay attention to here or there. But when I am in the shower, I am far too invested in my shower arguments I'm having with people to pay attention to the book that I am listening to.
Oh, no. See, for me, I like to listen to my audiobook when I'm in the shower.
Can't do it. Can't do it. I'm having an argument with my husband about something that irritated me, or my mother.
See, I do that when I go to bed. That's when I have all the thoughts in my head where I play out the scenarios. That's when I'm trying to fall asleep.
See, the shower is where I'm powerful and I'm winning all these arguments. Going to bed is when my brain tells me I'm just a piece of shit fat loser who will never accomplish anything in her life. And do you remember that time in 3rd grade when everybody found out you had a crush on Scott and you were humiliated by it? Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Both. I have both in bed.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, you've got quite the bed situation going on there. Sounds like a threesome if you ask me.
Depends on the night. Depends what's going on. That's why I try to stay up until I'm ready to pass out so I can get into bed and hopefully fall asleep really quickly.
Yeah. I'm going to say that my ADHD energy drink theory it's done.
Gone.
It's gone.
Yeah, we've already lost it.
I think we've disproven this. But back to books, I have some scary facts about books.
Give me some scary facts. I don't know what could be scary about a book, but let's hear it.
Well, the practice of binding books in human skin called anthropodermic bibliopagy was occasionally done in the past, often with medical texts.
Okay, I didn't know how you could take a book fact and make it scary, but you did.
I did. Okay.
Why? Did it say why?
I don't know.
Where did they get the skin?
Humans. What do you mean? Where did they get the skin? Humans.
What?
Probably cadavers in the medical lab or whatever.
But like, who wants to skin a human to bind a book?
Well, they were probably skinning them to learn medicine, and then they just kept the skin. And then I don't know. I don't know why people do the things they do.
Who had human skin lying around and said, you know what? I think this would be great to bind my book with. Because that person is a psychopath.
Psychopath?
Psychopath. That person is a psychopath.
A psychopath.
It's a psychopath.
Yes, I would tend to agree. I know the Nazis used human skin as lampshades and such. So yes.
Well, yeah, but we already know they were psychopaths.
Psychopaths. That's my new favorite word is psychopath.
That's our new word. That's going to be on our next merch.
Yeah, psychopath. It's going to be like, BAMF! Psychopaths. Okay, back to our scary facts.
I'm sorry. I can't get over this one, Kelly. I'm going to have nightmares. This is why I don't read actual books. Now I will never open another book again because I'm going to be afraid that it has human skin to bind it.
Wait, so your nightmare would be a black-eyed kid outside your window holding a book made out of human skin?
Fuck you. Fuck you, Kelly. I'm out.
It's never going to happen.
You don't know. You're putting it into the universe. It might.
It's not going to happen.
Okay, those black-eyed kids are listening to you now. They're like, oh, we need to go get a book made out of human skin and go scare the fuck out of Jen.
Now they can come to me.
Yeah, go to Kelly.
Okay.
Just don't let them in.
There's an urban legend that claims that certain libraries worldwide have books that, when read aloud, summon death or drive readers insane.
Don't turn out the lights.
Did I? I set that one time as a text tone on my phone.
Yeah,
not remembering how many times they say it. So I would get a text alert and my phone would go, hey, who turned out the lights? 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 And I was like, oh my God, shut up. Okay. There are also some ancient manuscripts. You're not going to like this one at all.
Oh, fuck you.
Some ancient manuscripts were reportedly written using human blood as ink, such as certain grimoires, which are magical texts created during the Middle Ages for rituals.
Okay, so the blood thing doesn't freak me out as much as the human skin.
Really?
Because you don't have to be dead I guess you don't really have to be dead for someone to take your skin, but...
Well, you wouldn't survive. Back in the times when they did this, it's not like they had labs where they could just like take a sample of skin and grow new skin. They didn't have the technology that we have today.
Right. But that's what I'm saying. Like someone could write their grimoire in their own blood with like a pricked finger or a nosebleed, cut a palm and like have a bucket of blood. Like
a bucket
you
from cutting your palm. Holy shit.
A small bucket. But someone can do that to themselves and use their own blood. So it's still kind of gross, but like the skin thing, no one is going to like skin themselves to bind their diary. Like it's just not going to fucking happen.
Yeah.
So there's just something creepier about the skin.
All right. Well, let's get into a little bit of history.
Okay.
Throughout human history, books have held a special place as vessels of knowledge and gateways to imagination. Yet, alongside tales of enlightenment, there exists a darker narrative, one where books are said to carry curses, misfortune, and even doom. These are stories of cursed books, mysterious texts that linger at the edges of our collective fears, blending superstition with the power of the written word.
Okay.
The idea of cursed books can be traced back to ancient civilizations. Early societies believed that writing itself carried an almost supernatural power. Words once etched onto paper became permanent, an act that could bind thoughts, ideas, and even spirits. In many cultures, sacred or forbidden texts were treated with reverence and fear. Mishandling these writings or delving into the knowledge meant to be concealed was thought to invoke the wrath of divine or malevolent forces.
Okay.
The written word has always been a double-edged sword. On one hand, books represent enlightenment. On the other hand, they can symbolize forbidden knowledge. This duality fueled the belief that some texts were inherently dangerous, whether through the rituals they described, the truths they exposed, or the mysteries they concealed. These books were seen as capable of bringing ruin to their readers. Over time, tales of individuals who suffered strange fates after interacting with such books further cemented the notion of cursed texts.
Interesting.
Yeah. Words are powerful.
They are very, very powerful.
Yeah. The belief in cursed books isn't always about their content. Sometimes it's about their form. Books have been bound in unusual materials, as we were saying.
Yeah.
Treated with chemicals or imbued with rituals to protect or curse them. The very act of owning or touching such a book could be seen as risky, with the curse affecting not just the reader, but anyone who came into contact with it. The physical weight of these legends often added to their mystique, making them objects of both fear and fascination. Because we are people, and that's what we do, man. If we fear something, we are always why do I watch so many serial killer documentaries?
Why are there so many popular paranormal podcasts? Not that we're one of them, but why are there so many other ones out there?
Oh, there's other popular paranormal podcasts.
All the other popular paranormal podcasts, not this one.
Hey, but you know what? We're putting in our hours, or
we are.
Those other podcasts, they didn't start huge either.
That's true. One day we're going to be super popular and someone's going to be listening to us after we already have like 200 episodes out and are like top of the charts. And they're going to listen to this episode and they're going to be like, what the fuck they talking about? They're like the most popular podcast out there.
No. Yeah. It's going to be amazing.
It's going to happen.
Yeah.
It will. Write that down in your cursed book.
Cursed books are often surrounded by an air of mystery. Many are said to be hidden away, their very existence shrouded in secrecy. This aura of the unseen contributes to their allure. What is forbidden or inaccessible naturally becomes more intriguing. And over the centuries, such stories have grown into myths. Often the fear surrounding these books stems from the unknown. The idea that reading certain words or uncovering certain truths might unleash something beyond human control. Okay, in more recent times, the idea of cursed books has evolved into a mix of urban legend and cultural phenomenon. Stories of cursed books are now as likely to appear in horror movies or online forums as they are in historical records. The modern iteration taps into our deep-seated fascination with objects that seem to defy explanation. Whether through eerie coincidences, unexplained misfortune, or strange events, cursed books continue to captivate our imagination, blending fiction and reality. But why do we fear them?
I don't.
You don't?
I mean, you haven't told me anything that makes me fear it yet.
The enduring appeal of cursed books lies in their power to evoke both fear and curiosity. They remind us that knowledge is not always safe, and that curiosity can come at a cost. Cursed books represent a perfect storm of human anxieties, the fear of the unknown, the dangers of overreaching, and the unsettling possibility that some knowledge is better left untouched. I don't believe that.
No. Give me all the knowledge.
As long as the book exists, the legend of cursed text will persist. They are a testament to the human imagination, a reminder that even in the age of reason, we are still drawn to the mysterious and the forbidden. Perhaps because deep down we wonder, could a book really hold that kind of power? And if so, would we dare to open it?
Is there such thing as cursed audiobooks? Because as we talked about earlier, I don't know if I could read a cursed book.
I'm not positive. I'm sure if they have turned any of the books we're about to talk about into an audiobook, maybe it would.
Okay, well, I might give it a try.
All right.
I'll let you know if I get cursed.
So first we're going to talk about The King in Yellow.
Okay. Not orange.
Yellow.
Okay.
Now, this book is not cursed in the traditional sense, but one that has inspired a deep, lingering unease since its publication over a century ago. It's a collection of stories wrapped in mystery, madness, and the power of forbidden knowledge. The King in Yellow is a book of interconnected short stories, first published in 1895 by Robert W. Chambers. At its core is the idea of a fictional play also called The King in Yellow. But this isn't your average theatrical production. According to stories, anyone who reads the second act of the play descends into madness. It's a tale... Anyone. It's a tale of psychological horror, one where the act of reading itself becomes a dangerous journey into the unknown. Patreon bonus coming up soon. We are probably going to read the second act as a Patreon.
Absolutely.
Bonus.
The King in Yellow is an audiobook on Everend.
Okay.
So I'm sure it's on Audible.
What's fascinating is how Chambers uses the play as a backdrop. The play itself is never fully revealed in the book. Instead, its presence lurks in the margins. I'm not the only one that heard that, right?
No, I heard it too.
Okay. As I was saying, its presence lurks in the margins, like a shadowy figure just out of sight. The stories explore the ripple effects of this cursed text, how it warps the minds of those who encounter it and pulls them into a world of despair and chaos. The title alone evokes a mystic dread. Who is the king? And what does he want? But The King in Yellow isn't just a literary work. It's a cultural phenomenon. Boop, its influence can be seen in everything from the cosmic horror of H.P. Lovecraft to modern TV series.
Isn't it just Lovecraft?
Lovecraft. Why did I say lover? Oh my God.
I don't know.
I'm having a day. Let's try that again.
Energy drink, 0. ADHD, 1.
Of H.P. Lovecraft to modern TV series like True Detective. And what's most unsettling is the idea at its heart, the notion that some things are not meant to be known, and that curiosity can lead to ruin.
Wait, what was it for True Detective?
Its influence
of
this
book?
work can be seen in everything from H.P. Lovecraft all the way through our modern TV shows.
Oh, I wonder how it influenced True Detective.
I don't know. Write me a paper on it.
I won't.
Would be interesting.
Kelly, I have 2 master's degrees. I'm done with school. I never want to write a paper again.
I was just thinking yesterday, or the other day, I said I was going to look something up, and I can't remember what it was. I said I was going to look up, and it's bothering me.
Don't worry. When you go back to review the episode, then you'll remember.
You're really smart, Jen. I'm glad you're my co-host.
Well, that happens to me all the time. I say I'm going to do something, and then I completely forget until I'm editing the episode, and then I remember briefly, but then I usually still don't do it.
Okay, so what is it about this fictional play within a book that captures our imagination? And why do the ideas of words driving someone into madness feel so plausible?
Because that's what's happening right now.
Yeah.
Every word I read is driving me into madness.
Perhaps it's because we've all felt that pull, that need to know the things we're told to avoid. And maybe that's what makes The King in Yellow so timeless. Holy shit.
That's why I said, rewrite it, King in Orange.
It's not just a story about madness, but it's a story about the human condition itself.
I want to read this book now. I just saved it. I'm going to listen to it.
Mm-hmm.
It can't curse everybody. I mean, it's a freaking book. There's no way.
All right. Our next book is the Necronomicon.
Oh, that sounds nasty.
So what is the Necronomicon? Well, the simplest answer is that it is a book. But not just any book. That was really stupid. Let's take that out.
No, I'm leaving that in there. Oh, we're not even drinking.
I have no idea what was going through my head and why. It must have been late.
It must have been because, geez.
Oh, my goodness. So the simplest answer is it is a book.
It's a book, Kelly. That's it. It's a book. I'm going to say that from now on whenever we ask that question. So what is the chupacabra? Well, the simplest answer is it's a chupacabra.
Right.
Everything from now on.
All righty. According to H.P. Lovecraft, the horror writer who invented it, the Necronomicon is a cursed grimoire.
Ooh, also on Everend.
Okay.
So
I have I'm
saving all of these.
I have a whole book of H.P. Lovecraft stories that I need to read.
Okay. But you actually have to read it?
I might have to.
Yeah.
It was a gift.
Okay.
Written by a so-called mad Arab named Abdul al-Hazred in the 8th century. It is said to contain rituals, incantations, and the horrifying truths about ancient cosmic beings.
Oh.
Now, if you've read any of Lovecraft's stories, you will recognize the Necronomicon as a recurring guest star. It's the kind of book that drives people mad just by looking at it, let alone reading it. Characters in Lovecraft's tales often stumble across it, thinking, hey, this seems interesting, only to spiral into insanity after unlocking knowledge humanity was never meant to have. Classic mistake. I love the fact that even when H.P. Lovecraft was writing his stories, that we had intertwined stories with that this book was in other tales of his.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Well, it looks like this is a bunch of short stories. At least that's how the audiobook version is.
So where did this curse book come from?
I don't know. H.P. Lovecraft? Now you got me saying it. H.P. Lovecraft?
Don't be what was it? What did you say? Not a psychopath, a
psychopath?
A psychopath. Don't be such a psychopath.
Sorry, can't help it.
Where did the cursed book come from? Obviously, Lovecraft made up the Necronomicon entirely, but he gave it such a rich backstory that it feels real. In his universe, the Necronomicon was originally written as Al-Hazif, which supposedly means the howling of demons. Al-Hazred, its author, was an 8th century mystic who wandered the ruins of ancient civilizations and uncovered terrifying forbidden secrets. The original Al-Azrith was later translated into Greek and renamed the Necronomicon. Over the centuries, it was translated into Latin, with copies supposedly scattered into obscure libraries, like the fictional Miskatonic University in Arkham, Massachusetts. And here's where it gets fun. Lovecraft wrote about it like it was a real book, complete with a publication history and warnings about how dangerous it was. This gave it an air of authenticity that has fooled some people into thinking of it as an actual historical text.
Oh, interesting.
Now, in Lovercraft, I said it again. I'm not just saying Lovercraft, I'm saying Lovercraft, which I don't know.
None of it makes sense.
No. In Lovecraft's stories, the Necronomicon is essentially a literary Pandora's box. Open it, and you unleash madness. Read too far, and you might summon an ancient godlike being, like Cthulhu.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah, I think Cthulhu sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm definitely reading this book as well.
Did I tell you that when Emily got her, probably not, when she got her wisdom teeth out, and she was still like really high on all the drugs they give you to put you out for it, and she had galls in her mouth, and 2 strands of it started to hang down. And Katie made the comment that she looked like Cthulhu, and that really upset Emily, and she started crying. But then she started going, Cthulhu. It was really adorable. I might have that on video that I could send you later.
Please do. I must see it.
You might learn about a horrifying truth about humanity's place in the universe. Spoiler alert, it's not good news.
It's not good news.
The Necronomicon is described as so dangerous that institutions like the Catholic Church and the Masonic University kept it locked away.
Oh, I'm definitely reading it now.
It wasn't just for show either. People who tried to use it, like performing the rituals or summoning ancient beings, often ended up insane, dead, or worse. It's the ultimate do not touch warning label. Here's where things get interesting.
I'm going to touch it, Kelly.
Even though Lovecraft admitted the Necronomicon was fictional, people still believed it. Over the years, we've seen hoaxes, fake versions, and even authentic, in quotations, Necronomicons published as if they are real occult texts. The most famous is the 1977 Simon Necronomicon, which combines Lovecraft's ideas with Sumerian mythology. It's creative, but it's not real. But why do people believe in it? Probably because it feels real if you're living in this damn world.
Yeah.
Lovecraft did such a good job grounding it in his stories that it's hard not to imagine some dusty, cursed copy of it sitting in a library somewhere, just waiting for someone to make the mistake of opening it.
Me.
The Necronomicon takes on a life of its own. It's shown up in movies like The Evil Dead, where it's portrayed as this creepy skin-bound book.
Why? No skin-bound books. That's disgusting.
It's inspired bands, video games, and even real occult practices. But here's the thing. The Necronomicon isn't just a spooky prop. It's a symbol of forbidden knowledge. It taps into the universal fear of knowing too much, of digging too deep into things we don't understand. And that's why it resonates so much, even with people who have never read Lovecraft. The idea of a book so dangerous it could destroy your sanity, that's timeless.
My sanity's already destroyed, Kelly. There isn't much of it left, so I might as well just read this book to snuff out the little remaining piece that might still exist.
Next, we're going to talk about the Vonich manuscript. Now, I was really excited when I was researching this. I happened to be watching one of Josh Gates' Expedition Something shows. It's one of the one where he's on it.
Oh, okay.
And he was talking about this manuscript on the show.
Was he?
That was really cool.
You have to send me what episode it was.
Yeah.
What's it called?
The Vonich manuscript, Voynich. This is a 240-page book written on calf skin parchment. Calf?
What skin?
Like a baby cow?
Oh, I was thinking like your calf part of your body.
I mean, it's not that far of a stretch. We've talked about
it's really not. I just thought it was really weird that they specifically were picking a type of the body.
Yeah.
Like, is the calf skin stronger than
I don't know
the other areas?
So it is filled with bizarre, colorful illustrations of plants that don't exist, astronomical symbols that look like they belong in another galaxy, and naked figures bathing in what can only be described as a medieval fever dream. Oh, and the text. It's written in an entirely unknown language.
Oh, well, then how can I read that?
They call it Vonichese.
Vonichese.
For over 600 years, no one has been able to crack the code. Not linguists, not cryptographers, and not even AI. It's like the manuscripts is actively resisting being understood. Although, we may be getting closer.
Oh.
This is often considered one of the most perplexing books in the world. The mysterious text sparked debates and theories for over a century, with some claiming it spies secret code, others labeling it as an alchemist spell book, and even a few suggesting it's a message left by an extraterrestrial being.
I think I remember this episode now where Josh was talking about it.
Yeah. So let's journey back to 1912, on the outskirts of Rome, where a Jesuit college is liquidating its collection of old manuscripts. Among the bidders is Wilfred Vonich, a Polish dealer of rare books, who's on the hunt for valuable text he can resell in London. As he combs through the manuscripts, he discovers a peculiar volume. Opening the pages feels like stepping into another dimension, filled with cryptic symbols, strange diagrams, and illustrations of plants that don't resemble anything on Earth. The manuscript is written in an unknown language, so baffling that even after decades of studies, its secrets remain undeciphered. To this day, the author is unknown. But thanks to modern research, new clues are shedding light on who might have written it and what it could mean.
The pictures in it, as I'm looking at it online, look like a Dr. Seuss
They do.
pictures.
Yeah. Vonich, an expert in rare texts, knew he had found something extraordinary, yet he couldn't make sense of it. The book is compact, about 9 by 6 inches, 240 pages thick. I'm just thinking 9 by 6 inches and 240 pages thick sounds like a good time. And made of calfskin parchment. Its looping cryptic script is accompanied by bizarre illustrations, surreal plants, and strange astronomical diagrams, and scenes of nude women bathing in what appear to be pools.
So you can buy this book. Well, you can buy a copy of it on Amazon that has pictures from the original book. And then I guess it kind of like explains maybe what they think. I don't know, just briefly.
So among the pages, Vonich discovered a Latin letter claiming the book was authored by a 13th century philosopher and alchemist, Roger Bacon. Fascinating figure, Bacon was a Franciscan friar with an interest in science, magic, and coded writings. This led Vonich to theorize the manuscript was a manual of alchemy and magic, filled with forbidden knowledge. Believing the book held immense value, he set out to sell it.
Interesting.
However, Europe was embroiled in a world war, so Vonich took his treasures across the Atlantic to America, opening a bookstore in New York City. Despite his best efforts to market the manuscript to wealthy collectors and institutions, the book's unreadability made it a hard sell. In 1915, Vonich began a promotional tour across the United States, showcasing the manuscript to libraries and museums. His efforts brought fame to the book, but they also attracted the attention of authorities.
Oh.
In 1917, the Bureau of Investigations, the precursor to the FBI, paid Vonich a visit. Suspicious of the foreign dealer and his unreadable manuscript, they interrogated him, fearing it could contain stolen or enemy intelligence. After thorough investigation, they cleared him of wrongdoing. However, Vonich passed away in 1930, never having solved the mystery of the manuscript or sold it. For decades after his death, scholars and code breakers have attempted to decipher the text using increasingly advanced technology. In 2009, researchers at the University of Arizona carbon dated the parchment, confirming it was created between 1404 and 1438. And I think that's amazing that they can narrow it down like that.
Yeah, that is pretty fascinating.
It did rule out Vonich's theory about Roger Bacon, but the mystery still persisted.
Okay.
Enter historian Stephen Skinner, who proposed a groundbreaking theory. Skinner argued that the author was likely a Jewish physician or herbalist living in northern Italy during the 15th century. He noted that many of the plant illustrations could be linked to herbal medicine, and some of the images of women bathing corresponded to mikvahs, ritual baths in the Jewish tradition. He also identified architectural features in the drawings that match structures from that time and region, particularly in areas with significant Jewish populations.
This was on Josh's newer show.
Yeah.
The one that just started. Because I just recently watched this episode.
It was like,
because it's all coming back to me now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just a couple weeks ago I was researching this.
Okay. Yeah.
So Skinner's theory gained additional support from linguistic analysis. In 2018, Canadian researchers used artificial intelligence to analyze the manuscript text, suggesting it may be encoded with a version of Hebrew. They hypothesized that the script used a system where letters were shuffled and vowels were omitted, a common technique in certain coded texts. This aligns with the idea that the manuscript could have been a medical text written in code to protect valuable knowledge. People have dedicated their lives to cracking it, only to find themselves burnt out, discredited, or just plain obsessed. One researcher claimed that studying the manuscript felt like it was designed to drive you insane. Not necessarily a curse in the traditional sense, maybe just the world's worst puzzle.
That's fair.
Today, the manuscript resides at Yale University and is fully digitized for public viewing. While the book may not be a magical grimoire or alien message, its true purpose, a potentially coded medical text, makes it no less fascinating. Over a century after Wilfred Vonich first stumbled upon it, the manuscript continues to inspire researchers and enthusiasts alike. The mystery of the world's most cryptic book remains unsolved, waiting for the next mind to unlock its secrets.
Ooh.
I do like the theory, that it could be like a Jewish physician.
Yeah. But the fact, why would you have to write it in code? Like what? I mean, I don't know what it was like back then, but generally doctors are usually pretty open to sharing their medical knowledge.
You would
not
think.
Hiding it.
You would think, but I guess that maybe some doctors felt like that if they had the key to cure something, maybe they could get more business. Like, oh, you have to see this particular doctor. He's the only one that's making this better. I don't know.
Yeah.
And we have one more book.
Okay.
The Orphan Story.
Ooh.
The Orphan Story is a book with a dark, mysterious past. A book so infamous it took over 400 years to see the light of day. Some say it's cursed. Why? Because every time someone tried to publish it, something terrible happened. Deaths, disasters, you name it. The Orphan Story is a 17th century Spanish novel written by Martin de Leon Cardenas. I don't know. I can't pronounce this last name.
That's fine.
Google it. A monk from Granada. It's a picturesque novel, basically a fun, adventurous tale about a young orphan making his way in the world.
Usually you don't get fun and adventurous and orphan in the same sentence.
Very true. The story follows this orphan as he travels to the Americas, seeking fortune and glory in the Spanish colonies. Think swashbuckling adventures, daring escapes, and all the classic drama of colonial life. Sounds harmless, but here's where it gets weird. The book was written between 1608 and 1615, but it wasn't published until 2018. That's over 400 years of sitting on a shelf.
Weird.
That's because, like I said, every time somebody tried to publish it, terrible things would happen. One of the earliest cases involves the author himself. After writing the book, he left it unfinished, and some say he died before he could complete it. Fast forward a few centuries, and multiple scholars and publishers who worked on the manuscript reportedly met tragic ends. Some died suddenly. Others abandoned the project for reasons they couldn't explain. And those who survived described feelings of dread and unease while working on it. It's as if the book didn't want to be published. The Orphan Story doesn't sound like the kind of book that would be cursed. It's not a grimoire. It's not full of forbidden rituals. It's just a novel. But maybe one of its themes of greed, ambition, and colonial exploitation gives it the eerie vibe.
Interesting.
The book paints a vivid picture of life in the Spanish colonies, with all the highs and lows that came with it. Some readers believe its focus on human flaws like ambition and betrayal might be what cursed it, almost as if it's warning us about the dangers of overreaching. But here's the thing. For centuries, the book sat locked away in the archives of Spain's Royal Library. Every time somebody tried to bring it into the world, the curse or bad luck would strike. As I said, many people tried to publish this book and they would abandon the project for reasons that they could not themselves even explain. Some cited feelings of unease or dread while working on the book, and others just seemed to vanish from the historical record entirely after attempting to decipher it.
But the curse only happened to people that were publishing or editing it, not people that were reading it.
Right.
So you can read it now and nothing bad will happen.
I believe so. We'll have to try it out.
Okay. Yeah. This one is not on Audible, or there's other stories called The Orphan Story, but it's not written by the same person, so might have to dig a little deeper for it.
One of the most chilling aspects of the Orphan Story curse is the claim that several individuals who worked on editing the manuscript met untimely deaths. These deaths were said to be sudden and unrelated, yet suspicious enough to make people question whether the book was cursed. While these stories are most anecdotal, they are fueled with legend surrounding the manuscript. Even when no apparent tragedy struck, attempts to publish the manuscript were plagued by delays, financial troubles, or inexplicable failures. For centuries, the book remained unpublished despite multiple efforts, as fate itself conspired to keep it hidden.
Interesting.
When Belinda Palacios, a Peruvian scholar, worked on the manuscript and prepared it for publication in 2018, she reportedly acknowledged the rumors of a curse, but brushed them off. She successfully published the book without any apparent misfortune. This led some to believe that the curse had finally been broken, while others speculated that modern skepticism and detachment from superstition had rendered the curse powerless.
Okay.
On one hand, you've got centuries of failed attempts to publish a book with strange tragedies following some of the people that were involved, and that's enough to make people suspicious. But on the other hand, there's no concrete evidence of a curse.
Yeah, fair.
Just stories and whispers that have been passed down through history.
Is there ever concrete evidence of a curse, Kelly?
Probably not. So that is a deep dive into the eerie world of cursed books, from the Necronomicon that drives readers mad to the orphan story that spent centuries refusing to be published. These stories remind us of the strange powers that books can hold. But here's the thing. Whether it's a curse, bad luck, or just the weight of superstition, one thing is certain. Humans have always been drawn to forbidden knowledge. It's like we cannot help ourselves, even when the warning signs are there. So I'll leave you with this question. If you stumbled upon a book with a dark reputation, something rumored to hold secrets that were not meant to know, would you open it? Or would you leave it closed, untouched, hoping for someone else to make the mistake?
No, I would open it.
I would open that bitch.
I have them all saved in my app to listen to the audiobook now because I want to see if they curse me. I'll do the research for you all. Don't worry.
Yeah.
But no, if you want to send me a cursed book, go right ahead.
And that brings us to the end of this episode about cursed books.
If you loved what you heard, you can rate, review, and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts because your support really helps us out. So go do it.
Yes, I was listening to another podcast today and they mentioned that you can leave comments now on Spotify. Please do that.
Oh, yeah. Go leave comments about how awesome we are and how much you love us.
Please, please. From the bottom of our hearts. Please, please, please.
Thanks.
And don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Not My Ghost Podcast and on Facebook at Not My Ghost, Not My Problem. We post updates, photos, and more.
We do. And if you want even more amazing contact, we'll contact you.
Yes.
I mean, we will technically. If you want even more amazing content, please consider joining our Patreon for as little as $3 a month. That's our cheapest tier. You can get access to early episodes. I think the $5 tier gets you the bonus episode. So we do one bonus episode a month where we actually record video. So you get to see our beautiful shining faces.
And we cut nothing out of that. Like
No, we really don't.
All of our mistakes and stupidity and everything is just left right in there.
And our listeners right now are probably thinking, you mean they edit this? Because we do. This is the trimmed down version of our stupidity and our mistakes. There's a lot more. And then if you join our $10 tier, that's where you can come hang out with us once a month live and just talk and chat and have a good time.
Yeah.
Also, if you have any spooky stories, if you've ever encountered a cursed book or really any other spooky stories, go ahead and type it up and send it to us in an email at notmyghostpodcast@gmail.com. And we will read it on our Paranormal Postcards episode because we love your spooky stories.
We do. We love them all. Thank you for joining us on this eerie exploration of cursed books. Remember, as you wander through the shadowy corners of forbidden knowledge, keep this in mind.
If it's not your curse,
it's not your problem.
Until next time, stay spooky
and stay skeptical.